Hey everybody, welcome back. Tonight we're taking a quick break from the Smith Center here in Las Vegas because I drove down over to San Diego to the Civic Center in the Gaslamp Quarter to check out Phantom of the Opera. Now guys, just like Rent, I've been surviving on the Phantom of the Opera movie that came out in 2003 with Gerard Butler. A lot of people don't know the guy from 300 was actually Phantom of the Opera before he was Leonidas. But since 1993, I had a chance to see it back in Hawaii and I just kept missing it. So when I found out that it was playing over in San Diego, not even up for discussion. I'm going down to see Phantom of the Opera. Before we get cranking, here's a quick synopsis of Phantom of the Opera. Basically, it's just a love triangle, right? You got the Phantom, Raoul, and Christine. There's some other stuff going on, but that's the basic thing that's going on. The Phantom's in his late 40s. Christine and Raoul actually previously know each other, so they're about in their early 20s. Christine Daae's dad dies earlier on in her life, so she gets brought to the theater as a dancing girl. And the Phantom takes interest in her and teaches her and grooms her to be the star of the opera theater that he's in. Now the problem is there's a person that's there and he's trying to get her out of the way. That's part of the whole like violence of the play. But finally he gets Christine Daae to be the #1 person in the theater. Unfortunately for him, at the same time Raoul shows up and they recognize each other from their childhood. They start to fall in love like, oh, I love you from long ago. But she still has this kind of magnetic, seductive relationship with the Phantom. And that's what the whole thing is about. The Phantom trying to knock everybody away from Christine, while Raoul and Christine are trying to stay together because they're all kissy-faced. That's a quick synopsis. Man, what a great place to watch Phantom of the Opera. So when you look at the map of the Gaslamp Quarter, which by the way can be a totally separate video on itself, it's on the northern half of the Gaslamp Quarter, and down toward this side would be like the convention center where Comic-Con is held. Then you got the baseball park, Petco Park on this side, and in between all of these crazy restaurants where people are hanging out on the weekends. I mean, it is packed, tons of restaurants to eat at. But the theater itself is a little bit older, a little bit smaller, definitely more intimate than the Smith Center. And it's set up in that old school red velvety seats, a little bit of that old gold trimming. So when you kind of walk in, or at least when I walked in, I look up, I see the chandelier, I find my seat, I'm kind of sitting right under the chandelier. And in my head, I'm thinking, wow, I wonder what this looks like in the back of the theater. You know, where you can actually see the entire stage and chandelier and the entire theater itself. That must have looked really crazy, especially when it ends up falling. But when you sit down, you see the chandelier, lot 666, the canopy still on there covering the chandelier. You sit down, you look at the stage. It's this mysterious kind of black see-through screen. It's made out of mesh, and it's lit up with this kind of smoky white lighting. And you can see the auction scene, and that's when things start to take off. So the announcer's voice comes booming over the intercom. Auctioneer hits the stage. Raoul comes on when he's old. I think it's Madame Geary comes in when she's old. He starts auctioning things off. And the monkey comes out of this box. Normally the monkey, when I've seen it, is just a monkey that's, you know, on a pedestal and he's kind of, you know, doing the symbol thing. This one actually had a box that folded open. Then he came up out of the box and did the ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Creepy. Always creepy. But then they make the lot 666, and then boom, dun, 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 boom, canopy gets pulled up out of the chandelier. Chandelier like lights up, and then you're on your way, right? The flashback scene starts, and that's where the real magic starts, because then you actually get vision into maybe what it was like to be in a play back then. The dancers come out, the choreographer comes out, the owners are there on stage. You have the maestro who's doing his thing. Everybody's on stage, and then it doesn't stop from there. The action just keeps going. Now, if I had to come up with one word to describe this entire play, it would just be epic, because everything is epic about this play. The stage was really small, but it was packed full of intricate set designs, set pieces that were moving in and out. I'm not talking little tiny set pieces. I'm talking gigantic set pieces. And of course, the music, Andrew Lloyd Webber, it's one of those, again, just like Rent, it just pushes the action. And the actors on stage were absolutely wonderful. There were so many people moving back and forth. In fact, one of the things I really appreciate about Phantom of the Opera is it gives you plays within a play. That first flashback scene is them performing and practicing a play, and then you get 2 more plays that the Phantoms wrote. So you're getting kind of like 3 for the price of 1 when you really think about it. A couple of scenes that really stood out to me was the first one where the Phantom appears in the mirror. You know, if you've seen the movie or you're familiar with the play, there's a scene where Christine Daae finally gets her chance to be a star, and she's back in her dressing room, and you can see there's a wardrobe with a mirror there, and you know he's going to appear in that mirror, and you're just waiting for it. And when he does, the way that they do it is just spot on. It's perfect. They light up just one half of his mask, and then as the scene starts to get a little bit more seductive and a little bit more serious because he's trying to pull her into his world, they start lighting more of his body. And this Phantom I had was tall. That guy must have been like 6'4", 6'5". He was tall. So when he stepped out of this smoky cabinet, it looked just crazy. And that just sets the tone for the next scene, which is the descent down into the basement of the theater. And how I was talking about big set pieces, they had this gigantic like cylinder that just came out, and then when he went into the wardrobe, they ended up on the top of this thing, and then the stairs actually popped out of this thing one at a time. Like they were up here, and one stair would come out, another one, and another one, and another one, and they would go down into the spiral. And then of course the famous gondola scene where they use smoke to kind of mimic water, and him just kind of like pushing her along in the gondola, and then it linked to his lair. All of that stuff was insane. So from the scene where he appeared in the mirror to getting on top of the tower, that also doubled. I don't know, the tower was really weird. Like it acted as a tower, and then it spun around, opened up, and then it was the manager's office. It was totally multifunctional. And then when they get down to the lair, there's a lot of moving pieces that had to come forward in order for that to happen. Just wonderful, smooth transitions that were seamless. Perfect job, guys. Then, of course, you have the scene on top of the theater when it's snowing. All I ask of you, that scene. The size of the gargoyle that the Phantom actually was sitting on when he was watching everything, that thing slid out, and it was massive. It was literally the size and height of the entire stage. My one complaint about that one scene, it was beautiful, it's well lit, is that the snow that was falling way too fast. It was like it was too much of a heavy grain that they were using, and it was distracting the hell out of me, and it was taking away from the actors singing and being emotional with each other. But the mere size of the gargoyle that the Phantom was sitting on was crazy. And of course the scene when the chandelier falls down, I wasn't expecting the chandelier to drop like 10 feet from my head, but literally it came down, and it didn't just go beep, it went beep, it just kept going. Like I was okay, it's coming, he's gonna point at it, boom, and it just fell, and it kept going. I'm like, is that thing gonna stop? But I think that's what the whole purpose of it was, to kind of freak you out a little bit. And that's why I was mentioning earlier, I can only imagine what it looked like from the back seats. They're probably like, somebody's gonna die. And thank God it stopped though. And they left it there toward the intermission, and they kind of picked it up. But that's the kind of shot that you saw earlier on in the front half of the video. It got really low. And of course, the last scene that I want to bring up is my favorite, and might be the favorite of everybody, is Masquerade. Oh my God, Masquerade! All your faces on parade. So good, so big. The costuming that they wore for there, the masks that they wore, it just takes you back to that 1800 period where masquerade balls were in, and the usage of the gloves to give movement to the dancers, and the song itself was absolutely fantastic. That was my favorite scene of Phantom of the Opera, Masquerade. Now, I like to say that the Phantom was my favorite actor, but in actuality, it was Raoul. I gotta give the award to that guy. Not only did this guy look fantastic, square jaw, perfect face, just like the guy from The Little Mermaid. I hate you, you should not be that good looking and be that talented. He had everything, and his relationship with the 2 owners and La Carlotta was absolutely fantastic. Perfect job, perfect relationship between everybody else. Now, my issue with the Phantom is, God, he looked the part, man. He was tall, intimidating looking, huge booming voice. When he got next to Christine, he was in control. You could tell, right? Because he's supposed to be the older gentleman in his 40s. Raul and Christine are like in their 20s. But that's what he's trying to do. He's in love with this girl. And you can tell that he is the definite alpha male in this thing. He's in control of the situation. But what I wasn't getting from him was that seductive kind of phantom attitude that he's supposed to have. It's kind of like when so like Batman, right? Michael Keaton to me is the best Batman. He was a great Bruce Wayne and a great Batman. Everybody else was just a good Bruce Wayne, not a good Batman, notwithstanding Christian Bale. So you got a Phantom that's intimidating, commanding, but not very seductive and sexy. The scenes that he had with her just didn't seem to go very well. But did he have all the pieces? Absolutely. Now, Christine Daae, the actress that played her, oh my God, beautiful, big-eyed, soprano voice. She looked apart, just powerful and delicate voice all at the same time. But she was doing some things on stage that were making me like, oh, stop doing that. Like she had this weird shuffle that she would do when she went to, you know, downstage. And I'm like, what are you doing that? She kept doing it over and over again. And there were some scenes where Raul and her are supposed to be very much kind of falling in love, but she seemed a little bit frightened of him at times. And those kind of things kind of threw me off a little bit. But I guess I'm nitpicking on those things because the play, freaking outstanding. So guys, that's the ending of my review for Phantom of the Opera. Oh my God, epic, epic play. If you have a chance to go see it, don't even hesitate. Pull the trigger. Get the best seats as you can, because the closer you get, the better you're going to be able to see all of the stage magic that's going on. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to Kimo365, please do. If you liked the video, please give me the thumbs up. And as always, I'll catch you guys later.